Well, now joining us here on A's Cast Live. He's a fan favorite. You love him, A's fans. Eric Byrnes here for Alumni Sunday. How are you?
Chris, I'm great, man. Like I said, I listened to you the other night and just started to get back into the zone and get ready to come here and kind of, one last dance at the Coliseum and say farewell to this place. And it's a little nostalgic, I think, coming back here this morning and making the drive from Half Moon Bay like I did so
Mm-hmm.
many times. And I honestly, dude, like, so right when I'm coming up on the 880 and I used to have this convertible where I'd roll the whole way with the top down. So I'd leave Half Moon Bay, it's 50 degrees. I'd go over the bridge, it's freaking, 75 or whatever. And then you get on the other side and I always have my beanie on and wear it low in the shades. And then right when I saw the Coliseum, I would always go back to this one song. And it was actually Kenny Chesney, Anything But Mine. Don't ask me why, but that was a song that like locked me in for the day to all right, it's time to go to work, it's time to focus and everything else. And so today I had my kid in the back, uh with his buddy, and I'm like, dudes, listen to this.
Yeah.
And so I made them shut their phones off and we sat there and listened to that song, and it was pretty cool.
You're going to get it today because we see the fans, they just run to get in line to do these autographs. And you're going to see the appreciation that they have for the way you played, for the way you went about it. We were talking about this with Adam Rosales. I mean, he was the same way. You brought it every single day. You wish everybody would. It's hard to do, but there was never a day that you didn't bring your A game, and fans love that. And I think it's why fans still love you today.
Well, Chris, I think that now is coaching, and I coach a national travel team and had an opportunity to coach the Savannah Bananas, and
Yeah.
I could see how and why people appreciate that. And I think when I played, it was just what I did, and I didn't know any other way. But I think now, as I, have fully immersed myself into the coaching side of things, you understand that there's only two things we can control in life and in this game. It's our attitude and our effort. And so, so long as we maintain the right attitude and we give the right effort each and every single day, I'll be able to come back here however many years later and look you in the eye and everyone else that was around here and say, hey, look, like, I wasn't the best player, but at the same time I gave you everything I had. And it didn't always work out, and sure, there's some, I think if we look back upon those eras, I think there were a couple years we had the best team in baseball, and
Hmm.
we certainly could have won a World Series or even multiple, but just the way things worked out, it just didn't. But again, you come back and you look back upon it. And the message I send to our boys all the time is just know, so long as you know that you left everything on that field, like that's success. And when I look back upon my time here with Oakland, I know I left everything out there.
I mean, think you leave the Bay Area to go to UCLA, and then you come back to the Bay Area and you become a big leaguer. What was that like to be a Bay Area kid? Family gets to see every game, friends, teachers, everybody that helped mold you got to see it and be a part of it.
It was cool. I think maybe at the beginning it was a bit overwhelming. I remember leaving 95 tickets for the game against the Giants, and this is before they had the ticket monitoring system,
Yeah.
basically. Um, so it was a lot, but at the same time, I think I did a good job compartmentalizing uh, what goes on here at the field as well as away from it. And I have had a lot of great people and still have a lot of great people in my life that I think helped with that process and just really supportive. And, there's nothing like, I mean, there's a picture that I have that I just pulled up the other day. It's my dad, my sister who's decked out in Giants gear, and I'm like 6, 7 years old. I got an A's starter jacket on, freaking A's hat, like, and then to get an opportunity to play with them, like, they just think
Yeah.
about that. It's very rare, but I think it's one of those things that I'm super grateful for. And I'd like to also believe that hopefully that can serve as inspiration to the next generation of ball players. And, one of the main things that a message that I continue to try to send out is don't let anybody tell you no. Like believe in yourself and have your dreams, and then we can create the process to get there. But don't ever let anybody tell you no. If you believe in it enough, and it can happen. I mean, I came from a small town and you know the Bay Area, that there wasn't big leaguers coming out of where I was coming from, and um, this process of one foot in front of the other, and then all of a sudden it starts to materialize, and then you can see how this can happen. And it was, whether it was from Ormondale to Corte Madera to St. Francis to UCLA to Medford. I mean, that was just getting to Medford, right? Then you're still the odds of you still getting to Oakland are that those Medford to Visalia, Visalia to Modesto, Modesto to Midland, Midland to Sacramento. Let's not forget it's up in Los Mochis, and then Santo Domingo in the Dominican playing for Licey. Like it's just this whole process. But if you look at this, it's overwhelming. It's like, whoa, nah, one foot in front of the other. And then that's what, obviously allowed me to get here and then make a career out of this baseball thing.
Well, and the career is still going. And I think about it's all about belief. I mean, the legendary story of you going to Billy Bean going, hey, man, I should be playing every day. You should be pitching for me or splits or what. I want to play every day. So, I mean, that took a lot to go up and do that back then. And it just kind of shows where you are now in business with the No Filter Network and the great success you're having there, which you've gone to the media side, the social side. That's been a great part. Just talk about how it's kept you in the game that you love.
Yeah, and I think when you do anything in life with like pure love behind it, and something that you really enjoy doing, then you're going to be great at it. So, but you got to love it. So when it came to playing baseball, or now from the media side of things, I love it. Kind of like you,
Yeah.
right? You love talking about the game of baseball, and sure, there's certain days or nights that we love talking about it more, but to be able to, you know, get into broadcasting and work for MLB Network for damn near 10 years, and then to create No Filter Network, and you know, basically we're an interactive live streaming platform, open platform content creation, um, with the idea that you know what Will Clark and I had a vision of sitting down on a couch like this and watching a game and live reacting, and being able to have open conversations without fear of condemnation or judgment. And if we happen to offend somebody along the way, we're not trying to, but we wanted to create this. And every Tuesday when I go on with him, it's I mean, he was my boyhood idol.
He's Will
So
Clark. He's Will the Thrill.
yeah, I mean it's an amazing experience. And then running the Daily Hustle podcast, which I come on there in the morning for anywhere between 10 minutes or an hour. It just depends what how much I have to talk about and how into it. But to be able to talk about the hot topics and the games and everything else, like and talk freely, I think that's the most important thing at this stage of my life is to make sure I stay true to who I am as a person, and ideally continue to, I think, inspire the next generation to not only follow their dreams but do what they want. But ideally, you know when you have something to say, like I think when I first got into media, there were certain times it's like, okay, well, I'll say this for like shock value type of thing, and there's still those moments. But I also think you know we collectively as media members, we have an awesome opportunity to educate, and I think that's where especially with No Filter Network, to be able to talk about hitting mechanics, to be able to talk about a mental approach to the game of baseball, to have Will on, and break down an at bat and certain pitches he's looking for. And like all of this, in my opinion, it's educational. So, I like I do believe, and I know that, for those who engage, there's a ton of value there. That's pretty cool.
Or you buy Empire's beers and take care of you the rest of your career. Hey, let's end on this. I've always viewed you as such a great inspiration. And when you talk about you only live once, get the most out of your life as you possibly can, just not as a player, what you're doing now, the triathlons, all the different kind of races you've been in.
Yeah.
You know, no one's ever going to say you've been cheated in life.
No, and again, this goes back to just find something that you're passionate about, find something you love. What's your ikigai? What's your reason for getting up in the morning, pull your head off the pillow, and continue, to want to work. And I found that with endurance sports after baseball. So I think from a mental standpoint, it was the broadcasting, right? But it's like physically, what was I going to do? I mean, I spent all my life training to play Major League Baseball, and then all of a sudden that was over. And so then I got into the endurance sports, and I mean, spent 10 plus years. Started with like a sprint triathlon to running a 5K to eventually 12 Ironmans and a, a, a triathlon across the country, the Western States 100, a 24-hour speed golf world record, just kind of crazy stuff that I started chasing. And I loved it. Absolutely loved it. And I mean, just recently, about a year now, I've fallen in love with pickleball. So
You're like the
that's
last guy would do when you're doing pickleball.
yeah.
Iron Man's to pickleball.
I grew up playing tennis,
Yeah.
and for whatever reason, I got a good group of guys and women in the Tahoe community that are all badass pickleball players. And about a year ago when I started, I would just get absolutely throttled, and so I had to learn the game. And it's actually there's a lot more thinking. It's kind of chess, out there, and it just I think from a physical standpoint, it's it's surplus. I mean, I still run every day, but that's kind of the next thing. And so I bring that up just because what's your next thing, so to speak, right? Like that's where I think we all need that next thing. And uh, as goofy as it sounds, right now with the pickleball, that's my next thing.
I know you get a lot of love on social, but today you're going to get a lot of love from people right in front of you. Go enjoy that. You
Okay.
deserve it. It's going to be a lot of fun for you.
I hope so. Thanks, Chris.
The great Eric Byrnes right here on A's Cast Live.